Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have made their first round of moves in an effort to get their roster from 90 players down to 53. The following players have been cut. Long snapper Zach Triner, punter Nolan Cooney. This is per Greg Auman of Fox Sports, by the way. Linebacker Kalen DeLoach, cornerback Andrew Hayes, defensive lineman Brandon Matterson, wide receiver Rayleigh Webb, defensive tackle Judge Culpepper, and outside edge rushing linebacker Sean Peterson. Now, there's a couple of interesting players worth of note here, and we're going to go over all of them. Firstly, in the case of long snapper Zach Triner, this does mean that Evan Deckers is going to be the team's long snapper going forward, and it does end a long stretch here of Triner with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He had originally joined the team back in 2019, had spent the past few years with the Bucs, and is now gone. Maybe he'll be back on the practice squad, who knows, but this does mean that Evan Deckers will be the team's long snapper this upcoming season. In the case of Nolan Cooney, he was a guy that was brought onto the Bucs roster literally just a week or two ago. He may be a candidate for the practice squad, as Todd Bowles was open in saying that Jake Camarda has not necessarily been having a good offseason, preseason, whatever it may be, in terms of his punting abilities. So who knows? There may still be a spot there for Nolan Cooney on the practice squad going forward. Of course, Kalen DeLoach is going to be a name that a lot of people may be disappointed to see released. He was a guy who was battling for that fourth linebacker spot with guys like J.J. Russell and V. Jones. Unfortunately, he lost a lot of steam whenever preseason games started coming in, right? You didn't see him do a lot in preseason game number 1. By preseason games 2 and 3, he wasn't playing a lot, unfortunately. So, might be a candidate to be brought back on the practice squad, but may also be a guy who may have some different opportunities elsewhere. Cornerback Andrew Hayes is another player. I believe he was undrafted, was a guy who was in the process of preseason, training camp, and whatnot. Unfortunately, just didn't play very well during those preseason games. Didn't really stand out on special teams either. So it seemed like that was a foregone conclusion. Brandon Matterson only had a few days with the Bucs. He was brought in basically as injuries piled up in terms of some of the reserve defensive linemen. Maybe a candidate for the practice squad. Who knows? I mean, they brought him in for a reason. Maybe they just wanted to get a look at him in practice and whatnot. But honestly, wouldn't surprise me if he has to look for other opportunities elsewhere as well. Rayleigh Webb was a guy who was brought in actually last year for a little bit, or I believe some type of futures contract, something along those lines, but was a special teamer type of guy, bit of a big-bodied backup wide receiver, had made a couple of plays in training camp, but overall just got lost in the shuffle, so to speak, with a lot of these different guys that have been making some plays at wide receiver. That's Cody Thompson. That is Ryan Miller. That is Tanner Canoe, which those guys may still not even make the roster as well. So Rayleigh Webb had a lot of odds against him. In the case of Judge Culpepper, son of Brad Culpepper, former, big name Tampa Bay Buccaneer, again, so much depth at defensive line that he had an uphill battle. And he was with the team throughout basically everything. Rookie minicamp, basically the entirety of the offseason, training camp, preseason, and whatnot. Just got lost in the shuffle, didn't really stand out. And you have some other guys that are battling for spots, like Ernest Brown IV, like Luol Ugwak, like CJ Brewer. There just wasn't a spot necessarily there for Judge Culpepper. And then for Sean Peterson, according to Auman here, was injured for much of camp in the preseason. And it is what it is, again, he had a very uphill climb because the Bucs have Jose Ramirez, they have Marquise Watts, all these different types of guys who are doing a lot of good things in those training camps, preseason games, and whatnot. It was going to be an uphill climb anyway for Sean Peterson to make this roster. But that's it for this first wave of cuts, guys. Again, a couple of big names here, guys who could come back. I look at Zach Triner, I look at Nolan Cooney, I look at Kalen DeLoach. Unfortunately, and I wish nothing but the best for all of these guys, wherever they do end up, even the guys I just mentioned, if they don't end up on the Bucs. For Andrew Hayes, for Brandon Matterson, for Rayleigh Webb, for Judge Culpepper, for Sean Peterson. It may be a situation where they look for other opportunities elsewhere. But you never know. You never know. But guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions about these roster moves. What are your thoughts and opinions about them? I'd love to hear them. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. And as always, guys, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.